Hey everybody, this is Dead Winter Dead with another Battlefield 4 video for you. Today we're taking a look at a game of Conquest Large on Operation Locker. As many of you know, Operation Locker was a vanilla map that shipped with the original Battlefield 4 title. So we have all had it for a very long time, premium or not, PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC. Every platform has this map. And a lot of people complain about this map. Well, you know, it's too much like on Locker, it's too much of a grind, blah, blah, blah. And absolutely, I would agree with you. If you guys have seen some of my other videos, you guys know that I'm not really a big proponent of if you can, you should. And by that meaning, if you can stick 64 players in a server, you should. No, that's wrong. Just because you can put 64 players in a server doesn't mean it's going to be any fun. Doesn't mean that it's actually going to work at all. I mean, hell, if you could fit 20 hot dogs in your mouth, would you? Why would you do that? Number one, hot dogs are nasty, and that would be I'm apologizing to any hot dog aficionados out there. If you love hot dogs, more power to you. But who the hell would put 20 hot dogs in their mouth? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that's the way it works for this game. Just because you can put 64 players in a map doesn't mean you should. That doesn't mean it's the optimal playing, or excuse me, the optimal player count. Excuse me. It doesn't mean that it's the most fun. But I digress. The point of this video is playing with randoms, and I'll probably do a couple of these just because I feel it's important. Now, most of us, or most of you, are probably like me. You have a day job, you're a full-time college student, you're a full-time high school student or junior high student, depending on what state you're in and how they do the public schooling system. But most of us do other things besides play video games. Now, there are very few of us that are lucky enough to play video games for a living. I wish I could do that. That would be friggin' awesome. But my wife would probably hate it, and so would my commanding officer. If I just said, hey, I don't want to be an Army Ranger anymore, I want to quit and play video games. But that point aside, most of us are, we play video games to have fun. It's a little bit of escapism. It's a little bit of just, hey, I want to have some fun. I want to kind of decompress, play in this kind of different world, whatever it may be, whatever video game or whatever genre it may be. I just want to play some games and just let off some steam. And that's me. I let off steam. I buy myself a bag of beef jerky, a can of cashews. I eat some fruit. I drink some Monster energy drinks. On the weekends, I partake in a little bit of rum, but you guys don't have to tell anybody that. Excuse me. But I have fun while I'm doing this. And most of the time, we're not actually playing with our battle log friends or our real life friends. We're playing with, puppies, randoms, pugs, blueberries, blues, whatever you call them. They're random players that you do not normally play with, that are just on random servers, and they got most people call them puppies, and then that kind of evolved into pugs or pubs. The whole blueberry thing, obviously, because people who aren't in your squad are colored in this nice little pretty blueberry blue. So whatever you want to call them, I don't care what you call them, random players on your team. How to play with them. Now, it takes a little bit of dialing it back. You have to dial it back a little bit. I know some people like to get out there like, look, I want to go out there and kick ass. And you guys know, I don't like to toot my own horn, but I kicked ass in this match. I think I went, 28-6 or 26-3, something like that. But I did very well using the support class with claymores, the ammo box, an AWS with a compensator and a couple different sights, and then as you can see right now, I finished the game off with the M249 SAW squad automatic weapon with the suppressor, which allows me to get a bitchin' back rage towards the end. I'll let you know when it comes. Excuse me, but it is awesome. Anyway, playing with puppies. What you have to do, sometimes you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice a little bit. You have to be able to look at the big picture. Now, the only way you can really do this is if you are a like-minded player, like me. There are several different types of players. You've got the lone wolf, you got the KD whore, you've got the the trophy guy, the guy who wants to go after all the trophies and the dog tags and all the assignments. But then you have players who they want to have fun, but they want to win the game. And they want a PTFO. For those of you who don't know what PTFO means, or you've been living under a rock, that's play the fucking objective. It's been an acronym that's been around for quite some time in the Battlefield community. But you like to PTFO, play the objective, or just help your team to the win. And I'm here to give you a couple tips on how to do that while playing with puppies. So, rule number 1. You kind of have to dial it back. You have to realize that you can't be the Rambo guy all the time. You can't be the guy who's just eating people's faces and, cutting out their hearts and sacrificing them to the gods of chaos all the time. You can't be doing that. Because there are going to be other players that are going to be reckless. There are going to be other players that are going to be overly cautious and not pushing when they should be pushing, or not defending when they should be defending, which makes this job difficult. Playing with puppies in order to achieve your objective is a lot more difficult than it sounds, because you have to be able to assess the entire battlefield, and you will see that coming up. You have to be able to assess the entire battlefield, be able to assess the strengths and weaknesses of your team, be able to assess the dispositions of your team's equipment and gadgets, and be able to assess how your team is doing in the face of, say, an enemy, a strong enemy flank, a strong enemy push, a strong enemy back rage. How does your team respond to that? Do they respond well, or do they completely crack under the pressure? Now, this particular match, I was lucky. I had a team that was, they had their stuff together. They knew what they were doing, but they were a little over aggressive. And some of you might be saying, well, look, if you can all cap a team, then you should all cap them and rape them. And right here, yeah, I ran into a claymore. I ran into one of my favorite gadgets, which is just hilarious. And then I got caught doing something stupid, trying to type, oh, it was right out in the open. And then I got res and then ran and just did something. So those 2 kills were just completely my stupid fault. But anyway, as you can see right here, B, we've been back raged on B. They took Bravo, so I spawn on Alpha, because I know your average player, your average puppy, they're gonna go where the kills are. They're gonna go where the kills are, which is, they assume that, well, we have Charlie, Delta, and Echo, so they're probably gonna be coming from their spawn. So I'm just gonna try to spawn camp them and rack up the kills. But that doesn't win you the game. Let's say we all crowded up on Echo and tried to get the spawn camp on, and a squad or 2 squads back raged us, took Bravo, then they split up. 1 squad took Alpha, 1 squad took Charlie. Next thing you know, we're almost all capped. So you have to be able to balance, smelling blood in the water, and hey, I need to pull back and do what is good for the team. Now, some of you may be like, that's stupid, Dad. You're totally stupid. If you smell blood in the water, you should just attack and rack up as many kills as you can, blah, blah, blah. But that's not how I like to play. And I think there's a fairly large player base that likes to, it's not about the kills. It's not about how badass you look in your playbacks. It's about winning. It's about, hey, if I have to pull back and play more of a support role or more of a secondary role, if my role acts as a pillar, as a solid foundation for which my team can push off, excuse me, and achieve victory, then so be it. I was that solid foundation. I was the giant that, whose shoulders they were standing on. I think that would be so much more rewarding. Be like, look, man, I was the one that made this happen. I might not have gotten MVP. I might not have gotten the most kills. But look, I was the one who was like, hey, look, they're back raging us. We got to pull back. And then have my squad mates follow me. Like, I would rather be that player than to be the guy who gets MVP but is on a losing team who got raped, or a guy who, you know, didn't have any kills, but he was sniping in the background or running the mortar in the background, and he went 7-0. You're like, oh, I had a perfect KD. It's like, yeah, but you didn't really bring anything to the table as far as victory or as far as PTFOing goes. So right there, if you disagree with that frame of mind, and you know, you can just stop the video right now, even though we're almost 10 minutes in, 10 and a half minutes in. If you don't agree with that, you can leave right now. But the rest of you who agree with that, look, this is what you have to do. You have to be able to assess right here. I see that most of my team, by looking at the minimap, they are pushing the enemy from Delta, from that long hallway from Delta. So you know what? I'm going to sneak around. And not only that, I'm going to get behind them and get elevation. I have a suppressed LMG. I'm going to get elevation on them, and I am going to dominate. Look at this. Look at that. You know, 1 kill, 2 kills. It just keeps going up, keeps going up. And you know where my mistake is? You will see my mistake in a second. Look at my ammo count. 29, 21, 15, 12, and I end up killing everybody in that corner, but I've got 3 rounds left, and my mistake was getting caught up in the moment. I was like, oh, this is so awesome. And I got caught up in the moment, and I forgot to friggin' reload, and I forgot to transfer to my secondary. You know, so that was a great back rage, and that really gave my team the momentum, because as you can see, we're able to break around the side, we're able to push up the front, and it was just a cool moment. It was one of those cool battlefield moments. But I forgot to actually take my time, reload my weapon, think about what I was doing, and that was my mistake. I made that mistake. That was my mistake and mine alone. So I felt that this was the best for the team, because as you can see, we have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta capped. Not just capped, but firmly held. So let's push on Echo. We will take Echo. We'll go ahead and take Echo, see what we can do with Echo, and all cap them. But I'm not gonna try to push up and spawn camp them, just because, you know, spawn camping is kind of dirty. Have I done it? Hell yeah, I have done it. We have all done it. Any player who says they haven't spawn camped somebody is a liar, because we've all done it. We've all got caught up in that there's blood in the water, rah 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 attack mode. Here, I refrain from it, because I realized, look, man, these guys are getting their asses kicked, and let's pull back. Let's pull back a little bit. But look at the mini map. They're burning Charlie. They're burning Charlie. They have a contingent of their team behind us, and even though it's 679, 879 to 115, 113. They really don't have a chance to win, but I'm still going to work with these randoms and be like, all right, look, they're taking Charlie. Stop doing this spawn rape thing. We need to get back. We have to get back. We have to take Charlie. And I was communicating some of this stuff to some of my guys, and some of my guys were listening to me, but for the most part, they weren't. And it almost seems like my squad, like they were kind of like-minded. Like, look, the rest of you guys want to spawn camp them at Echo and let them back rage us? Fine. You guys go ahead and do that. But for me, I'm going to continue to, what's that phrase? PTFO, play the fucking objective. And the objective is to cap the flags, burn the enemy's tickets, win the round. The reason I went up these stairs was because I had a feeling something made me think that there were some bad guys in there, but there weren't. And while I was clearing those stairs, which ended up being completely not necessary, my squad mates were burning Charlie down. They took Charlie, and now we can push back up towards the front and back up towards where the bad guys are spawning. And they, in the meantime, have taken Echo back from us. So now my squad and I are pushing back towards Echo. But look at this. Excuse me. I see 2 bad guys spawning in. They've done a desperation move by planting a beacon there. Am I going to sit there and camp it? No, never camp a beacon. I will destroy that enemy asset and deny them the ability to spawn in behind us as we are trying to cap Echo. That's playing for the team. If I was just trying to rack up my KD and be a KD whore, I would have camped that beacon like a little bitch and been like, "Oh, go ahead, spawn in. I'll just take you down." So right here, as you can see, we won. Huge margin, 650 to 0. I think the original ticket count was about 800, 900 around there. But this is gonna kind of be just an episode 1, just playing with blueberries. Like, you have to dial it back. You have to look at the big picture, realize where your power points are, where your lanes are, what your team is doing. Are they camping? Are they sniping? Are they being overly aggressive and overextending their front lines, which allows enemies to sneak behind them? You have to see all those pictures. My name's Dead Winter Dead. Thanks for watching.